I'm Jacob Hamilton,
And I'm Hidro and Joseph.
and welcome to the Hardwood Huddle podcast, a basketball podcast where we break down the latest news and games in the NBA and basketball world. Hidro, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I see you rocking some Cactus Jack.
Of course,
He's from
of
Houston.
course.
Travis Scott.
Yeah, biggest Travis Scott fan, especially when I was younger. It's faded away a little bit now, but I still listen to Travis Scott at least like 5 songs a day. I have to get my daily input. So
I was
sweet.
thinking I need to come visit you sometime in Arizona. I haven't been before.
You're not missing too much, I'll tell you that. it's starting to get hot here. I'm not from here originally. I moved out here when I was in the sixth grade. Yeah, halfway through sixth grade, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. But hey, to each his own. It's currently 66 degrees right now, so I can't be too mad. But the summers are deadly, deadly, deadly. I've never been to Houston either, so I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to Houston too.
Well, the weather won't be that much different.
Yeah,
It'll be humid though.
humid. See,
Depending on when you
I
come.
can
So it's really nice right now.
I can deal with the humidity. I mean, Midwest. I mean, I grew up on lakes, so I'm used to, I'm used to all that humidity and all that. So, all right, Hedro. My first question for you today. This is not NBA. This is college basketball, but picks for March Madness. We have Auburn versus Florida, and we have Duke versus Houston. Uh, Give me your input on Auburn versus Florida, and same thing for Houston and Duke.
What was your final four? I forget what you have in
Uh,
your final four.
I kind of forgot too. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up.
I'm pretty sure you didn't have any SEC teams. That's what I remember.
I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Yeah. So
So
my
Auburn
final
versus
four.
Florida ruined you. You had U of H, and you probably had Duke, so you got half right.
Uh, yep. I had Duke and Houston matchup, but I had Auburn over, or technically, well,
No,
this app is so confusing. It's hard to tell like who my actual picks were. Uh, I had Michigan State and St. John's instead of Auburn and Florida. So
yeah, yeah,
that
that's
the
what it
and that
was.
was
hmm
yeah, yeah, that
Michigan
was
State was a
definitely
good pick. St. John's was not. But
yeah.
I
I
told you
just
that. I told you that.
yeah, you
If you
did.
look back on the pod, I was like, oh, St. John's, that's not gonna work.
Mhm. You
Michigan
did.
State, I'll give
And
you credit for it. They did well. They were one step away.
yeah, they were right there. And that's kind of a homer pick just because I'm a Big Ten guy, so I gotta have at least one Big Ten in there. So that was the homer pick for sure. Who was in your
in
final four?
in
Did you
terms
did
of
you correctly guess it?
no, I think I only had Duke and Florida.
Okay.
Uh, and I had Duke and Florida in the final, so I guess I got to stick to that. Um, I really like I really like Houston though
Mm-hmm.
because they haven't won they haven't won yet. And they've been knocking on the door. Like I told you in the previous pod, like they could win in any year. We just don't know
Yeah.
what given year it is, and they have NBA players that come through that have been coming through there. So in a former NBA head coach and Kelvin Sampson, who used to be the assistant coach for the Rockets back when they had their run with James Harden
Mm.
fighting against the
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors. Yeah, that was Kelvin
So
Sampson as the assistant coach. He left,
grizzled
and
vet
then
for sure.
yeah, he left for U of H, and then all of a sudden, uh, the Rockets started doing not as well on defense because he was a
Hmm.
defensive minded coach.
Yeah.
They brought in Russell Westbrook that year, and yeah, that was a 1 year experiment until he
Yeah.
got sent off to the Wizards. With that being said, Auburn's the oldest team. It has a they have an older team on average than the Atlanta Hawks.
Which is crazy.
Auburn is like
Insane.
23 some years old, and I think Atlanta Hawks average like 22. So, uh, I more than likely Auburn is just gonna beat on Florida as
Yeah.
the older, more experienced team led by Johnny Broome. I guess Auburn will slide that, but I did pick Florida, so I'm hoping my Duke versus Florida goes through. And so in my mind, Duke, I love Cooper Flagg. That's my current favorite player, and he's not in the NBA yet. So in my mind, I would like Duke to win the championship and kind of validate the fact that he's a number one pick.
Yep.
But me being in Houston, I guess I gotta hope the home team pulls it through.
And being in Houston and having obviously like Houston like being in the Final Four, what's like the environment like? Is it like a bunch of Houston fans? Like, do you see people wearing Houston shirts, or is it like kind of like it's such a big city that like the school kind of gets overshadowed by it in a sense?
The city tends to rally around when teams are doing well. So there's a lot of U of H shirts going around. The Final Four is in San Antonio, so you won't see as many because most people are traveling to San Antonio. They haven't been to the final. The U of H hasn't been to the Final Four, I think, since like the '80s with Hakeem. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, if they haven't made it recently, they haven't made it since the '80s, which is crazy. If they have, then they only made it like one time, and got knocked out before they hit the final. But they've been good every year for like the last 5 years.
Yeah, and that's why it surprises me, honestly. Because it's like, if that's the case and they haven't been to the Final Four in that long, it's like, in my head, like, as a casual college basketball fan, I keep prefacing this just because I don't want to act like I'm the all-seeing eye of college basketball, because I'm not. In my head, I would think they've been there before, but maybe not. And then this is a big deal for them. And obviously it's a big deal even if you've made it 4 times in a row, obviously. But that's actually crazy if that's actually the case. I don't know for certain. But
they've been to the Final Four 7 times, including 2025. So they've knocked on the door quite a few times without actually hitting it. I think they went. Let me see. Yeah, they've been to the Final Four quite a few times. So good on them. I wish my team could do that well. I keep picking them to make the Final Four to A&M, and we are not doing that.
Yeah.
So the last time they were in the Final Four was 2021. I was right. They did hit the Final Four one time.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that makes sense. I feel like I
at it again this year. But before that, it was the 80s. Mm-hmm.
That's
in the 80s, they made the Final Four in 82. They made the championship game in 83. They made the championship game in 84.
So just a powerhouse in a sense, just in the short span of time.
That was Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yep.
Those type of guys were on the squad. A bunch of other players that made the league too. But yeah, should be exciting. I will be watching.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the girls are playing right now. And Texas is playing USC.
See, is USC gonna win that? Like, this is what I keep saying. It's like I just have no idea of anything that's happening in college basketball. Honestly, I'm so disconnected because for some reason this year, it's, in my opinion, I feel like it's been a little bit boring seeing like all 4 of the number 1 seeds kind of just make it. But it's only the second time in history that we've ever seen that, so you really can't even complain about it.
That's never a thing.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
never
like
a thing to have all number 1s.
Yeah, and in my head when I was going through and filling out my bracket, and I had to fill out my girlfriend's bracket as well because she has no idea, and I told her I have no idea either, but she still told me to do it, which is a crazy take. But Yeah, I was in my head. I was like, I feel like all the number one seeds might make it, but like I was like, there's no shot. There's no shot. I was like, it's only happened one other time, and then of course it happened. So my picks
you,
are completely down the drain.
U of H, I think they said they had the hardest road in a long time to get to the Final Four because they had to face the 16 seed, the 8th seed, and the 4th seed, and the 2nd seed. The top seed, like there was no upsets in their on their side of the
No,
back, on their corner of the bracket.
no, there wasn't. They have not had it easy at all. And
Oh, USC is up 17 against Texas. Oh, with a minute left in the fourth, it's over.
it's over.
So USC will face the winner of UCLA versus UConn, and that's the women's Final Four.
And I'm gonna just take UConn in that because I can name a UConn player, and I get her last name wrong. I don't even want to attempt it.
Paige Beckers.
Yeah, Beckers. Is that how you say it? I mean,
Uh-huh.
as long as you've been in the basketball world, I feel like you kind of know who Paige is in general. But like, I mean, I'm rooting for her. I mean, and obviously I was rooting for Juju as well before she got
Yes,
she had
definitely. I wanted USC to go all the way until Juju got hurt. Then I was not happy about that. But one thing I like about girls, this one thing I'll say before we can step off of it. But the one thing I like about girls college basketball, they stay in school longer, so I can learn their names. So now when they turn around and go to the league, I see all these familiar faces. I can recognize them by name and actually follow WNBA in tandem. After NBA season's over, I could just go right over to the WNBA and see all these recognizable names, and it keeps their following up too.
It does, and I'll admit, like last year, I was loving watching the women's tournament last year. I had especially with like the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese beef that was going on, and then obviously you had South Carolina, just like a powerhouse, just kind of running the show almost. And then, but like now you have like girls like I can like off the top of my head, I remember is like Audie. I don't remember her last name, but she plays for Iowa State. It's like that's a player that you've seen for at least 2 years now, and she's kind of leaving her mark because they're good. Like they're a good basketball team, and you have to give them credit.
It used to be all the good girl players would just concentrate at Tennessee and UConn. And so you would see them dominate and you don't really care. And then they go on to the WNBA and you're not really following because there's only so many teams. So it's just a bunch of UConn players and Tennessee players dominating. But now the talent has kind of exploded on the women's side and it's translating to viewership. So I think that's
which is
it's
a good thing for everything.
Yeah, it's great to watch year-round basketball, in my opinion. If I could go straight into WNBA and NBA Summer League and Olympics and all that stuff, I'm watching basketball all year, international ball.
Yeah, and I'll take it too. Like it's like, and I went to my first WNBA game their last season, and saw the Mercury play the Fever, and I was just interested to see how the environment would have been, and I was honestly blown away. Like the arena was filled, obviously, and that's probably in part with Caitlin Clark, obviously, but even still, like it was like it got pretty loud in there at some points, and I enjoyed it. And I would definitely go to another one. There's no question about it. And the good thing about it is because the WNBA is on the rise, so the tickets are still a little on the cheaper side, so you can go and like not have to pay an arm and a leg like you do for these NBA games because they're so expensive.
That's pretty awesome. Speaking of which, you went to an NBA game recently.
Yep. Suns versus Rockets, and obviously, I mean, if you pay attention,
my Rockets.
Oh, like I'm gonna pull up the score really quick. That was, I'm trying to remember the day of that. See, like I pushed it out of my head.
Too much to too little.
Yeah, and it was very aggravating and very frustrating to watch. The score was 148 to 109. That was the Suns' leading scorer was Devin Booker with 28, but he started the game off terribly if I'm remembering correctly. And then Jalen Green had 33. So I enjoyed watching that and watching Asar and all those guys, even though Asar went down in the first quarter. And I was like, oh, no. And then he came out and I was like, thank God. Because he's obviously a player that I enjoy watching. So, and it was just a great game all around by the Rockets. I mean, I'm looking at their stats here. Like, I'm not going to go through all the names, but I'll just name the points: 33, 12, 16, 13, 13, 11, 11. My Ohio State, Jayshawn Tate with 3. Jabari Smith with 10. Reed Shepard had his 6. Dylan Brooks got ejected 11 minutes into the game. That was fun to watch. And I mean, who would have thought he was going to get ejected? I did. I would have thought that. So, yeah.
I'm thinking it's the defense with Phoenix. Is that ultimately the main issue?
Yeah.
There, or is the offense bad? Because there has to be an explanation. I had a lot of wild takes in my predictions article at the beginning of the year. One of which was like, "Hey, Dallas is not going to make the playoffs, let alone the finals or something, to kind of repeat what they did last year." And everybody thought that was crazy. But I had New York high. I had Cleveland high.
Yep.
Like I had them top 2 or 3 in the East. Nobody else had that. So I was hitting on all my picks. Tell me why I had Phoenix number 1 in the West. That's the only miss, and I missed by so bad that they're not even going to make the play-in tournament. So I need an explanation from somebody who's watching these games live. What the hell? What the hell happened? Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker to start.
Oh man,
Royce O'Neal was playing so well. Like I'm not sure where do we go from here? Like, they got no way to get better if 11th place is what they look like after 82 games. They're not going to be better next year.
No.
If you bring those same players. So what is it? Offense, defense? You tell me.
Well, like Spencer Dinwiddie the other day said about the Phoenix Suns, I don't remember the exact day that he said this, but he had a one-word description of the Suns, and it was just ass. Like, that was like his one-word description. And I mean, that kind of sums it up to me. I mean, obviously defense is an issue. Our offense is very stagnant and nothing happens. We have a bad turnover problem, especially with Tyus Jones like playing. He started, and then they put him to the bench, and like, we're just changing rotation. It's like, at this point, it's just too late to start changing rotation. It's a coaching problem.
I swear there was those teams lined up to get Tyus Jones this past summer.
Because I
think the Rockets really wanted him and they missed out. I think the Rockets really wanted him and missed out. I'm not sure.
Assist to turnover ratio. And that was like the eye candy to Tyus Jones. And then everyone was like, maybe he can be a starting point guard. That's him off the bench. Like, obviously his numbers are going to be a little more inflated because he's not playing starter minutes. But then you put him in this position, and then it's just back to what I kind of thought it was going to be, honestly. I thought we were going to be terrible, but I thought we were going to at least be like the 6th seed, terrible. But like, in my head, it's like, but then we have this.
Are some of these missed games by the top 3 of Beal, Booker, and Durant, are these like healthy scratches, or are they really hurt? Because it's like every time I look at a box score, one of them is out.
So for Booker wise, because obviously like that was kind of a topic at the beginning of the season, he definitely was hurt. I mean, you come off playing basketball all summer in the Olympics, like, your body's going to just be exhausted, and that's understandable. And I didn't have like super high expectations for him and KD, honestly, because I knew like that just makes sense. Like, if they were going to start slow, like that makes sense to me. Like, and I'll give him that. But Bradley Beal, there's no excuse because he wasn't in the Olympics playing all summer. Like, he probably was playing all summer, but not at the second highest level, I guess you can say, in the Olympics. And then I mean, right now Bradley Beal's hurt with a hamstring. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have stopped looking at the injury reports just because I know he's going to be on there because I am a season ticket holder, and whenever I see him, he looks like he's so happy and jolly, just sitting on the bench talking to his friends on the other team. It's like, and I see him like running around, kind of not running, but like speed walking around, and then like I feel like 2 minutes later he's like faking grabbing his hamstring. It's like, come on, Bradley Beal. Like, and right now, like KD rolled his ankle really bad, and so like I'll give him that, and like I don't remember the exact timetable, but like
I think it was against the Rockets too, right?
Celtics, I want to say, maybe Rockets. Celtics, I think it was maybe Rockets. Was it the Rockets? It might have been, but he rolled his ankle really bad, and the second I saw it, I go, he's shut down for the rest of the season. They're just going to say he's going to come back in this many weeks. They'll reevaluate, and then the reevaluation will be that he's out for the rest of the season, counting not making the playoffs because we're not gonna. But yeah, I mean, Bradley Beal, I think he's kind of just sitting on the bench because he's gotten so much hate around Phoenix. I mean, there was a
because
point
he's got that no trade clause, and I would hold my hamstring too if I could get pay without working.
Yeah. So would I.
My hamstring hurts too. Oh my god, my hamstring. Oh my god.
Yeah, and not have
go to the beach. I feel better.
Exactly, and I mean, like around the trade deadline, there was issues where Suns fans, and I'll say this, maybe this is a bad representation of me, not me, but like the fans that I am in with, I guess. Suns fans are terrible. They're my least favorite fans. I don't enjoy looking at Twitter and seeing what they have to say because they're delusional. And they have like this weird obsession with Booker, which I get, he's a homegrown guy, but at some point I don't really care about homegrown. It's like what's best for the organization. Like, and I don't see Booker winning a championship in Phoenix. I see him winning a championship somewhere else. And then I have this whole other can of worms that I can open about Booker, but that would take up the whole hour long show. So maybe I need to post like an hour-long video of me just ranting about the Suns. There's a bunch of stuff. That's obviously personal, but
we could have a whole pod about the Suns if you want, because it deserves that type of discussion, because it's very interesting what they're doing with future MVP or future Hall of Famer Kevin Durant and the coaching carousel that they've been going through over the past few years also. Yeah. That deserves at least 20 to 25 minutes worth of discussion.
It does. And I
would love to hear what a lot of other people in Phoenix are saying too. Like when you're on Phoenix X Twitter, what they're, and the people around you when you're watching the games live and stuff, like, what do y'all talk about? What do y'all discuss? What do y'all? Because you're looking at what you're watching. The highest payroll in the league is on the court that does not have a path to improvement because the Rockets got their draft pick. The Rockets, the third best record in the NBA. So you're going to end up with the 28th pick in the draft, and the Rockets might get Cooper Flag out of it. They got a 7% chance if Phoenix misses the play-in at Cooper Flag.
And I feel like I said this a couple episodes ago. If that pick turns into the number one overall pick, I'll do something. I'll go and embarrass myself in public, and I'll put it on the Twitter. And because I don't think it's going to go to number one, but if it does, like, there should be some punishment as a Suns fan, because like I'm a part of this too, I guess. Right. So it's like, I'm so upset about what's going on in Phoenix. I mean, I could, like what I said, I could talk about it for so long, and I have two other buddies that I live with that could talk about it all day long too. And maybe one of these days, like right when we have like a little break, they can come on and they can rant. And so you can just see other points of views from it, because it's a joke. It's a joke what's going on in Phoenix at the end of the day. And so I want it to be blown up, and I guess we'll see what happens this offseason. So
how do you blow up a team that got no trade clauses at the highest payroll?
Bradley Beal's
you got 38-year-olds and you got 38-year-olds and no trade clauses with the highest payroll. You got no picks to incentivize people to take payroll off of your roster. I actually don't see a path.
I don't see a path either, but a path that I do see is trading KD to Houston so we can get our pick back. What would you think of that? Would you like, yes, I want Kevin Durant, or is it like, I don't want to mess up this synergy that we have?
No picks can be traded until after until after the lottery. So we're gonna find out where the lottery slot is. Guess what? If it's number 1, y'all not getting no pick. We're gonna get Cooper Flag, and we're gonna keep all our picks because they're gonna keep coming. That's the only thing that's the only thing I can see happening is we're gonna still get more picks. Maybe we'll be able to keep up with the Thunder. Who knows?
That would be crazy. And you know what I'm gonna do? Draft lottery night. I'm either gonna go live or record myself watching the lottery, because if that pick does convey number 1, it's gonna be the craziest crash out you've ever seen in your life. and just be ready, because it could be bad. It could be really, really bad. Holes could be in the walls. I'm not even lying, because I've had some bad crash outs before about it. So
the number 2 pick, the number 2 team in the West, Houston Rockets, are currently playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 team in the entire league. So cool beans. Oh, we're getting around the corner to the NBA playoffs. You excited?
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't be excited about it, right? I mean, that's my favorite time of the year. It's when I get to watch the most basketball without anybody interrupting me, because they know that this is my time and they won't even bother me. So it's great. I'm excited.
We got MVPs making their case for MVP. Nikola Jokic the other day.
Yep.
He dropped 61, 10, and 10, which is a ridiculous stat line. And crazy. A losing effort in, I think it was double overtime.
Yep.
But that's wild, especially coming from a center. You're really not seeing those type of numbers from anybody, let alone like from a guy who's 7 foot, who doesn't appear to be like in great shape, but he played like 50 minutes. So
yeah,
I'm here to tell you, Nikola Jokic is in shape and making his case for MVP. And a lot of people don't care. They're going to pick Shea anyways. And the numbers don't tell me that Shea is having a better season than Jokic. The only thing the numbers are telling me is that Jokic is having a better season than Shea, but the Thunder are having a better season than everybody.
Yeah.
So are you going to give Oklahoma City Thunder the MVP, or are you going to give Shea the MVP? If you're going to give Oklahoma City Thunder the MVP, of course, you should have gave it to them a month or so ago. They've been that dominant. But if we're talking about making a case for MVP, man, it's hard to look at the numbers and sit there and say, you know what, his team is better, and that's the reason why I want this guy over this guy. It's almost like you accept the voter fatigue of Nikola Jokic and putting him on a pedestal that's different from quite a few people. There's only been 2 or 3 people in the entire NBA history who's had four MVPs.
Yeah,
I think he'd be tied with Bron or something.
LeBron has 4. Kareem has 5, I think.
Something like that.
And then, off the top of my head, I'm not fully sure who the other person is. I mean, I would think no, because that wouldn't make sense. I don't think Larry Bird got.
Kareem has 6. I think MJ has 6.
Yeah, I mean, they have a collective a lot, and giving Jokic the MVP slides him into those conversations with guys like Kareem, MJ, and LeBron, obviously. But like, if you do that, then like, at what point do we talk? Because I'll preface this: Jokic is my MVP right now. There's not like, unless Shea does something truly insane tonight, and with however many games we have left this season, it's going to be pretty hard. It's going to be pretty hard for me to say that Jokic isn't. But like, do I think that they're going to give him the award? Probably not. But like, because that's just voter fatigue. But if you do give him his 4th MVP, which he probably should have 4 already, when do you start to slot Jokic into maybe like a top 10 conversation, maybe a top 10 player of all time?
So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has 6, Michael Jordan has 5, Bill Russell has 5, LeBron has 4, Wilt Chamberlain has 4, and then you get into the list of people with 3. Jokic got 3, Bird has 3, Magic Johnson and Moses Malone have 3, and then you get the people with 2. Steph Curry, Tim Duncan, Steve Nash, Carmelo, that type of stuff. Then a lot of people with 1, but oh my God, if he gets 4 and he's tied with Wilt Chamberlain, and he's been breaking Wilt Chamberlain records, you know?
Yeah.
Greatest center of all time. He might be number 2. It doesn't take more than how many. You don't need a bunch of rings. And I'm not a ring counter because I feel like it does take a little luck, and it's a team sport. Like you can count rings and titles when you're talking about tennis or golf or something like that.
Yeah, like a singular sport. Yeah, you can't factor in rings when there's teams, because it does, because like you said, there is kind of a luck factor to it, and you have to like put that into consideration. Which I know a lot of people that are like, rings are the only thing that matters, but then I counter that with like Bill Russell. Like I've had some weird conversations in my day when people want to talk about the GOAT and they say that, and then because they're trying to talk about Michael Jordan, obviously, then I just say, well, if that's the case, then Bill Russell's the GOAT. But
Robert Horry has 7.
Exactly. Like that's more than MJ. What is he 2? Like, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think Jokic definitely. It's kind of a hot take currently, just because like he's still like not like a young active player, but like younger in a sense. He's 30. He's not like that's like, I mean, he's still in his prime, right? Like, so it's like, when do we start having those conversations about
centers get better as they get older?
Exactly, because they just like, you got that grown man strength, like that's like a thing. Like in my head, like I was taught that. Like my dad's like, you'll get that grown man strength. It's like, then I'm like, okay, well, I think Jokic is getting his now, so it's like, that's all. I don't know. Yeah, Jokic for me is definitely it's hard for me to say that he's not at least a top 3 center of all time. It's hard for me to say that. I think it's like inevitable to the point at the end of his career, when everything's all said and done, that he's a top 10 player ever. I think that's going to be hard to dispute.
And mind you, offensive, we're talking about offense. So, you know, there's been way better centers on the defensive end. Like he wouldn't be that high, but we're talking about some ridiculous numbers. He's throwing out guard numbers as a 7-foot center. So it's kind of hard to dispute. And then you see where the Nuggets are in the standings, and where would they be if they did not have Jokic? Jokic sat out a game the other day after that 61-point loss, 61-point game in which they lost, and Russell Westbrook had 30 points in a near triple-double, and they weren't close to winning in that game. So that's what you would deal with, basically a 10th place team, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm honestly interested to like look at what Jokic's win shares are, because I mean they have to be like through the roof, right? I mean, like there's no chance that they're not.
They are third in the Western Conference, despite everybody thinking, you know, voter fatigue. I can't pick somebody who, because of it's a team sport and they've lost this many games, but Oklahoma City has won this many games, so they must have the MVP. Be like, no, their team is so dominant, especially like defensively that it's really hard to keep up with them.
What if we see a
On both sides
world
of the ball.
where they do a co-MVP, two MVPs? I mean, we've never seen that to my knowledge. This is just off the top of my head. This is just something that just popped in now. I mean, we've seen it with
Off the
rookies.
top of my head, I think that has happened once in my lifetime. I think who split it
for MVP?
Maybe it was All-Star MVP.
Let me look this up really quick. Co MVPs.
I think it was All-Star MVP is what I'm thinking.
NBA. I don't think there's ever been. I don't think there's ever been. I mean, we've seen co-rookies of the year before. That's a rare thing. You're probably not going to see that ever again, truthfully. But I mean, like, why not? I mean, like, they're obviously they don't have two MVP trophies to give them, but if it's going to be split like this, so down the middle, it kind of seems like between everybody. Like, I mean, what do you do then? Like, what if like the votes line up split down the middle, where Jokic has the same amount as first place votes as Shea, and then obviously it'll go to second place votes. But I mean, what if that happens? Like, what then what do the fans see? Because those sheets get released to the public pretty quickly, so then we'll have to see then. So
we need an Offensive Player of the Year award. So
I agree.
That way, it could kind of separate itself from NBA MVP, because when you just say scoring title, it's almost like people throw that as a bone whenever they want to talk about Jordan and his 10 scoring titles, but nobody really worries about the scoring title like they used to. Like in the early 90s and stuff, the scoring title used to really matter. People stopped worrying about it these days. Now it's like, who cares who is the highest scorer in the league? Like, nobody's even really tracking that like they used to.
No. And I just don't understand why they haven't added that award already, because they revamped a bunch of them. What was that, 2 years ago? I mean, why wouldn't they just add another one? Like, I get like it's probably harder to do because it's not in the, like, it wasn't a award previously, but like, who cares? It's like we're gonna start seeing like these conversations more and more come up where it's like next year we truly could just see the exact same conversation that we're having now. It's like, is it Jokic or is it Shea? And then it's like, well, then they'll give it to Shea if Jokic wins it this year because he got it the year before. It's like, that's not how it should be. Like, there should just be an offensive player. Like, there should be. And I'm not trying to say that Shea isn't an MVP caliber player, because he is. Like, I want to make sure that's clear. But like, it's hard to like say that he's not, like that he is the MVP when you have Jokic doing stuff like this. And even though it's in a loss, that loss was not on him. That loss was on Russell Westbrook. All of Russell Westbrook the other night. That was ridiculous. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
So it was the Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Nuggets seemed to finally wrestle control of the game near the end with about 15 seconds left. They had the ball and started going on a fast break for some reason, and instead of pulling it out, they went on a 2-on-1 fast break. Russell Westbrook hit Ryan Brown, and then Ryan Brown hit it right back to Russell Westbrook on a 2-on-1, and Russell Westbrook had a wide open layup, and he kind of jumped a little too far away to go for that layup. And instead of pulling it out and kind of, taking the foul, the Nuggets were up 1 at the time, and there was that miss followed by the Timberwolves getting the ball and going up the court. They had a timeout. They decided not to use it and started pressuring the defense, passing it to Anthony Edwards out at the top of the three. He cuts to the basket, 2 seconds left, and he drives into 3 people. They're guarding him. Russell Westbrook's still upset that he missed that layup, so he's coming in late to the play.
He's walking down the court, by the way, smiling, like, because in his head he's like, they're not gonna make a shot. But then
they were up 2. They were up 2. So all of a sudden, were they up 2? I think they were up 1. I take it back. They were up 1.
I can check really quick.
They were up 1, and then Anthony Edwards went into that crowd, passed it out to I forget his name.
Nikhil Alexander-Walker.
Alexander Walker, yes. And he shot a three at the buzzer, missed the shot. Nuggets thought the game is over. The ref calls a foul on Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook fouling a 3-point shooter at the buzzer when y'all are up one. And that guy goes to the line. There's 0.1 seconds left. That guy goes to the line, hits the first two, misses the first one, misses the last one on purpose. Jokic, so funny. He tried to slap the ball like a handball from that side of the court to the basket. And, I thought that was pretty funny. But 61-10-10 in a losing effort by Jokic. Man, Minnesota versus Denver is a fun matchup. It was fun last year when Minnesota saw them in the semifinals, 7-game series. Minnesota won on the road in Denver when everybody was complaining about oxygen. I still remember when the Nuggets made it to the finals and Charles Barkley, for whatever reason, he probably never done that in his entire career. He had a oxygen mask while he's sitting there at the live in Denver for the games against the Miami Heat. And everybody complained about it's the Mile High City and you start losing your legs in the fourth quarter. The Timberwolves seem to be immune by that. They can go overtime, double overtime, and they just seem to get stronger and not weaker. And they definitely wear out the Nuggets. It's not a great matchup for them.
No, not at all.
Great matchup for us though. We love it.
Yeah, and even let's say it does go by regular season, right? Because the Timberwolves are 4-0 against the Nuggets in the regular season. As long as I'm getting 4 great games, I'm happy. As long and I don't really care who. I probably do care who wins, but I probably don't at the same time. But yeah, I would. Basketball fans would be blessed to see that again. So yeah, Russell Westbrook, man.
You got any hypothetical playoff matchups you're interested in? The playoffs start real soon. There's only 4 games left for most teams.
Favorite currently, this is from the other day. I was thinking about this. I would like to see Pistons versus Cavs. I know that's not a matchup we'll see till the second round, I believe, or the third round. However it ends up looking. That's a matchup I want to see really bad. I think that the Pistons can beat the Cavs. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that happens, but that's probably my favorite hypothetical, that matchup I'd like to see. And obviously being from Ohio, I would like to see the Cavs to win, but at the same time, as a basketball fan, I want to just see a great series. And so, yeah, that's probably my favorite hypothetical right now. Or I would like to see Lakers Thunder as well. That's obviously that would be one that I'd like to see. What about you? What's a hypothetical that you would like to see the most?
I have to think about it. Let me see.
A Lakers Mavericks would look pretty fun too. Even though the Mavs are currently 9th and they're in the playing spot, obviously that would be one I'd like to see a lot too. Lakers Mavs, just because of the Luka and the Anthony Davis thing and we're going to get to see that game here soon in the regular season. So that'll be able to tell a lot.
All right, it's not a matchup that's going to happen.
Yep.
But the Warriors and the Grizzlies.
Okay.
I like when they play against each other.
Yeah. There's a lot of
it's a serious rivalry at this point, despite the fact that the Grizzlies have never beaten the Warriors. It's kind of the same as when the Rockets were playing the Warriors during their championship 5 straight championship runs. So
yeah.
Golden State versus Memphis would be good. Oklahoma City versus anybody is pretty fun. But Oklahoma City versus the Clippers would be good in round 1. So that's a matchup that could definitely happen off rip.
Nuggets, I'd like to Thunder.
See I would like to see what the Knicks look like. I just don't know what matchup would look fun to me.
Yeah, that's because the Knicks,
Say that again.
off the top of my head, I believe that the Knicks they have a losing record against teams with like with a certain above 500 percentage. If that's the correct wordage for that. I'm not a mathematician. Um, but yeah, a Knicks matchup I'd like to see probably the most. I would like to see another Knicks Pacers. I'd like to see how that would go. I think that probably can go either way, truthfully. Um, because the Knicks don't win games against teams that they probably should be close to or close to winning. So that would be fun. And that's a team that I'm just interested to see how far they can go because with the statistics that we've seen so far, it doesn't look too good. What just happened? Okay. We just experienced a technical difficulty. I apologize for all that. All right, but next topic I wanted to get to Carmelo Anthony making the Hall of Fame. I mean, Carmelo Anthony is one of my favorite players. He's definitely a top 10 favorite player for me all time. I don't know where he's slotted in that top 10. He could be at like 5 all the way down to 10, but it don't matter. I Carmelo is a top 10 favorite player for me all time. Yeah, but I'm very happy that he has been inducted into the Hall of Fame along with Dwight Howard as well. Yeah, and I'm interested to see your opinion on this, but with the Hall of Fame being, I'm pretty sure you have to be retired for officially retired, not out of action for I think 4 years, correct? 5 years, maybe 4 to 5.
5.
5. I mean, in my opinion, that's a little too long. But obviously, they do that for a reason. I think maybe in the sense of like players wanting to come back like within that 5-year gap. But yeah, I feel like they should definitely shorten that because I feel like people are starting to disrespect Carmelo Anthony by saying LaMelo Ball is the real Melo. And so I think if he was inducted into the Hall of Fame a little bit earlier, we wouldn't have this conversation. But yeah, I just think that they should just shorten the time to get into the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion. Obviously, it's not really that big of a deal, but more technical difficulties. I would like to
Carmelo.
apologize to. Yes.
Carmelo, the number 3 pick in the 2003 NBA draft, 10th all time in career NBA points. He was a pure scorer from all 3 levels and could play multiple positions. I thought he was incredible in the way he was able to elevate his play when it mattered, and he was exciting. Like he could score the ball however way you could think of, and he was the engine for the Denver Nuggets teams, the New York Knicks teams that he played for. And
Yep.
I actually not sure which team he is going to retire his jersey. It sounds like both Denver and New York will both retire his jersey, even though Denver for some reason gave Jokic the opportunity to wear number 15, and Jokic is obviously going to get his jersey retired in Denver because he brought them a ring. But shout out to Melo. He's got Olympic medals, excuse me. And he was more dominant on the offensive side, it seemed like, than guys like LeBron James and Dwight Howard, who he's going into the Hall of Fame with and stuff like that. So very impressive guy to watch, especially during the summertime when he bring out his hoodie and play in a hoodie. And people call him Hoodie Melo and score like that. He's the original Melo as opposed to the Melo that's always injured in Charlotte, LaMelo Ball. So those are the people.
Yeah.
If that's who he's going to be compared with, y'all got to get it together. As good as LaMelo is, he's never around to play, and he's never elevated Charlotte to anything for as long as he's been there. As far as I know, he's on the trade block right now. LaMelo Ball is, but
Yep.
Carmelo, you could build around him. People built contenders around him. The Denver Nuggets made the conference finals with him, and he was an all around special player, especially on the offensive end.
Of course.
Ever since Syracuse, when he won a title in college in his 1 year in college. So very impressed by Carmelo. Very impressed by that whole 2003 class.
Of course.
That was a time to be.
I mean, the number one overall pick is LeBron James.
All that influx talent all in one draft.
Insane. And they all held their longevity for a long time. They all played for a long time too. So, and obviously the number one pick is still playing and is still debatably a top 5 player currently. But yeah, and LaMelo, oh my gosh. No. Carmelo, third in all-time leading scorers for the Olympic team as well with 336, I believe. So he did it everywhere. I mean, he scored just a pure bucket getter. I mean, what he had like, however, I can't remember the exact points, but like he had like no assists, like 1 rebound, 0 turnovers, like just pure just scoring. And they'd like to throw that stat line on Instagram all the time whenever Carmelo's brought up. So
one thing that was funny about Carmelo, I would compare his ruthlessness offensively to like an Allen Iverson type, and they both played on the same team. So I think that was pretty cool that they put both of those guys on the same team, 2 Hall of Famers.
And honestly, I think that the Nuggets need they should retire his jersey, of course, but I think they kind of like gave like the number 15 away so quick to like Jokic because they were like, this guy, like he's not going to do, like he'll be off the team in however many years from now, or he's not even going to be an NBA player. And look at where that got him. I mean, it got him an NBA championship. And now they have 2 all-time great number 15s. So, Ja Morant was fined $75,000.
You can put them both up.
Oh, yeah. But like, how do you do that? Do you do like the split jersey thing?
No, you would just put them both up there. It was just one that says Carmelo and one that says Jokic.
I mean, I want them to do that because obviously both of them. Excuse me.
It's like co-MVPs.
Exactly. It's exactly the same, pretty much. But yeah, Ja Morant was. What is happening? Oh my gosh! All right, for games of the week, for this week, we have Hawks versus Mavericks. The Hawks lost to the Mavericks 118-120. Anthony Davis scored 34 points, 15 boards, and 5 blocks, and he hit the game-winning shot for the Mavericks. Spencer Dinwiddie as well had 14 points, 10 assists, and 4 rebounds. And for the Hawks side of things, Trae Young with 25 points, 12 assists. Onyeka Okongwu, 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 assists. And then obviously Timberwolves versus the Nuggets. That was the double overtime game. 140-139. Timberwolves take the win. Jokic had 61 points, 10 boards, and 10 assists as well. Aaron Gordon, 30 points along with 8 boards. Anthony Edwards, 34 points, 10 rebounds. And for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he had 26 and 8 rebounds as well and hit the game-winning free throws for him. Great night for Naw, by the way. That was really fun. Another Timberwolves game, because this was the fight game where we had Timberwolves versus Pistons. Timberwolves beat the Pistons 123-104. Rudy Gobert had 25 boards with 19 points. Julius Randle led the team in scoring with 20 points and grabbed 8 rebounds as well. And then for the Pistons side of things, Malik Beasley, top scorer for the Pistons with 27, and Dennis Schroeder with 11 assists and 11 points. It's probably not the greatest game of the day, but we had a huge fight, and so I feel like that we had to acknowledge that. All right, Hidro, where can they find you?
At the Hero Joe, ThaHeroJoe on X and Instagram. You can also find my articles on bellyupsports.com. How about yourself, Jacob?
You can find me on Twitter at Hammy2004, spelled Hamie, not Hammy, like how you think it would be spelled. You can find the Hardwood Huddle on Twitter as well at Hardwood Huddle. And yeah,